Okay, so picture this. A kingdom on its knees, completely crippled by a drought. You've got a lone prophet standing up against a powerful, angry king. The stage is set for an absolutely legendary showdown on a mountaintop, a contest to see which god will answer with fire from the sky.
And this is really the heart of the whole story. On one side, you have an entire kingdom, totally parched, desperate for just a drop of rain. And on the other, there's this one defiant prophet, Elijah, whose faith is about to get the ultimate test. The stakes, they literally could not be higher.
And we're not just talking about a short dry spell here. For 3 long years, a severe famine had a death grip on the land of Samaria. I mean, can you even imagine that? The dust, the desperation, watching your entire world's food supply just wither away. So in the middle of all this, you've got these two very different missions going on. King Ahab, he's focused on the practical stuff. He's desperately trying to find enough grass just to keep his prized horses alive. But meanwhile, his own palace administrator, a man named Obadiah, is on a much more dangerous quest. See, he's secretly a believer, and he's been risking his life hiding 100 prophets from the queen's deadly purge. So you can imagine his terror when Elijah just shows up out of nowhere and tells him, "Hey, go tell the king I'm back." Obadiah's reaction says it all. He knows King Ahab has been tearing the world apart looking for Elijah. Just delivering that message could be a death sentence. It's a really chilling reminder of the life-or-death world they were living in.
But Elijah insists. The time for hiding is over. The stage is now officially set for a direct, face-to-face confrontation between the prophet and the king, right on the slopes of Mount Carmel. And there it is. The very first thing King Ahab says to the man he's been hunting for 3 years. He points the finger right at Elijah, blaming him for the drought, for all the suffering. But Elijah doesn't miss a beat. He fires right back, saying, "No, it's you and your family who brought this struggle on, by abandoning your God for all these other idols."
So Elijah proposes a challenge. And just look at these odds. He stands there and says, "I am the only one of the Lord's prophets left." And who's he up against? 450 prophets of the god Baal, and another 400 prophets of the goddess Asherah. The math is just brutal. It's one man versus 850.
The challenge itself sounds pretty straightforward. 2 sides, 2 bulls, 2 altars. But here's the catch. Nobody gets to light a fire. They have to call on their gods. And as Elijah puts it, the God who answers by fire, he is God. And the people, they love it. This is the ultimate test. Game on. So Elijah lets the 850 prophets go first. You can just feel the tension building. All they have to do is get their God to send down some fire. But the day just drags on. They start in the morning shouting, "Baal, answer us." By noon, absolute crickets. By the time of the evening sacrifice, there has been nothing, just total, complete silence from the sky. And right around noon, Elijah starts to have a little fun with them. He's just relentlessly sarcastic. He's yelling, "Shout louder, maybe your God is busy, or on a trip, or hey, maybe he's just asleep and you need to wake him up." It's such a bold move that just makes their failure even more obvious. And his mockery works. They get desperate, I mean really desperate. They start shouting louder, they're dancing wildly around the altar. And then it gets terrifying. They start slashing themselves with swords and spears until they're covered in their own blood. But even this grisly, violent ritual gets absolutely no response. Then, in the quiet of the evening, Elijah steps up, and his whole vibe is the complete opposite of their chaos. It's calm, it's methodical, it's full of meaning. First thing he does, he repairs the Lord's altar, which had been torn down. He uses 12 stones, one for each of the tribes of Israel, a powerful symbol of their shared history. He carefully arranges the wood, prepares the bull, and then he digs a big trench all the way around it. And then he does something that must have looked insane to everyone watching. He makes this impossible test even harder. He has them pour 4 large jars of water, which is like gold during a drought, mind you, all over the altar. Then he says, "Do it again," and then do it a 3rd time. That's 12 jars in total, until everything, the sacrifice, the wood, the very trench he dug is completely soaked. And his prayer, it's not a frantic scream. It's this simple, direct request. He doesn't ask for anything for himself. He just asks for the Lord to show up so the people will finally know who the true God is and turn their hearts back.
So, after a full day of deafening silence from one side, and now with an altar that's literally dripping wet, the moment of truth finally arrives.
And just like that, it happens. After all the shouting, all the dancing, all the desperate rituals, fire falls from heaven. And we are not talking about a little flicker of a flame here. This fire consumed everything: the bull, the waterlogged wood, the 12 massive stones, the dirt itself. It even licked up every single drop of water in that trench. It was just this display of undeniable, all-consuming power.
The reaction from the crowd is immediate. It's unanimous. They all fall flat on their faces and cry out, "The Lord, He is God." The contest is over. The verdict is in.
But remember, the test wasn't just about fire. It was about the drought, about the rain. So with part one complete, Elijah turns to King Ahab and basically says, "You should probably go get something to eat and drink because I can already hear the sound of a massive rainstorm coming."
So Elijah climbs to the top of the mountain to pray. He sends his servant to go look out toward the sea. The servant comes back. There's nothing. Elijah tells him, "Go back." He sends him again and again. 6 times in a row, the report is the same. But on that 7th time, something changes. The servant comes back and reports this tiny sign of hope rising up from the sea. A cloud, no bigger than a man's hand. But for Elijah, that's all he needed to see. He tells his servant to run, find King Ahab, and warn him to get his chariot moving before the rain traps him. And sure enough, soon the sky turns black, the wind kicks up, and that heavy rain finally begins to fall, ending 3 years of drought.
And so, this whole incredible story leaves us right back where it started, with the question Elijah put to the crowd on that mountain. It's a question that still echoes today. When you're faced with a clear choice, how long will you waver between 2 opinions? That's a powerful thought to end on.